So we're gearing up for the shoot this weekend. Intermission is being shot on Saturday and Sunday. I'm very excited, kind of nervous. It's the first shoot for the year, so it's going to be a good one though. So I thought for this video, really the only link missing that I haven't really done a video on is my lighting plans. Regardless of the size of shoot you're doing, you're going to want some sort of plan before you actually get to the shoot, especially when it comes to lighting. This will save you so much time. You'll be so much happier with what you get because you're not thinking on the spot. You already have some preemptive idea about what you're trying to achieve, and you're trying to achieve it using the plans that you've created. Your plans don't have to be exact. What I do is I end up making a document breaking down scene by scene what sort of feeling we're going for, what lights we're going to use. And then if I do have any sort of specifics, I'll end up putting them in like a bird's eye view sort of plan about where we're probably going to put those lights. So I like keeping things a little bit loose when it comes to lighting plans because, well, you can get on set and things might not shape out the way you wanted to, and it's nice to have a couple of different options up your sleeve instead of just having one dead set idea that you wanted to do and then not being able to achieve it. That's just the way I work. Not everybody works that way. Some people are really meticulous and plan out every single setup. That's just not me. I like being organized, but I also like having options. So the kind of details I look for when I'm trying to do this document is a list of shots or potentially storyboards. Doesn't really matter. Susanna is actually an artist, so the storyboards look amazing and they're really perfect for what we need. I was able to use them in such a way that I could actually visualize where the light sources were going to come from, and that kind of helped me previs where I was going to place lights. But if you're working from a shot list, that's okay as well. You're also going to need images and measurements of the location. You'll probably get these during your tech recce. If you haven't, you're going to want to go and get them if you're doing something very specific like a lighting plan. Also take note of where the PowerPoints are in the room, because then that will kind of determine where you can and can't put lights. For this film, we were super fortunate because we're shooting in a theater. They've actually got the documentation on hand for people who are hiring out the theater space, so we had floor plans already sent to us. I'd also consider having your gear list as well, but this isn't completely necessary. You can do a lighting plan to work out what gear you need. But in this case, we went the other way around. So we had a preset budget, we worked out what gear we could get for that budget, and then we put that into our lighting plan. To begin on these lighting plans, I had a look at the storyboards first up. Like I said, Susanna's an artist, so those storyboards look amazing, and they were really helpful in working out where I was going to put light sources. She even put some light shading in there, which kind of helped in working out where they were going to be situated in the settings that we have, in the different locations that we have, and how all this was going to work out. So I used all of that information that was given to me visually, and I kind of worked out where things were going to be placed. We already had the gear list, so I just matched light sources up to what we needed. So let's look at one scene in particular and break it down. This was my favorite to kind of work out. It's just a simple two-hander between two characters. They're sitting in the front row of a theater, and then they move their way to the stage by the end of the scene. It's nothing flash, there's no special effect lighting or anything like that, but I'll show you what we're going to do. The general overall style that I go for is very indirect lighting. I don't like lighting people directly, so every light source that we're going to be using, unless it's something like a hair light or an edge light, is going to be bounced or diffused, or both. So for this scene, I had a look at the storyboards, I worked out where the lighting was being motivated from, and then I had a read of the scene to make sure I had my beats in order and I knew exactly what was happening. This particular scene takes place when there's nothing happening on the stage. We do have two different performances in the film where something is actually happening on the stage. This one is meant to be house lights and pretty much nothing else. As with most places, the house lights in this place are really bad, so we're going to have to start from scratch. All the lights are going to be off. We don't have access to the grid at this point, so all of the lights that are above in the theater, we don't have access to that at this point, so we're going to have to light it ourselves. And I wanted to emulate some sort of large, soft light, so we wanted it to be as large as possible. We've managed to get our hands on an 8x8 half grid, which I'm going to use as the basic key light for this setup, and that is going to be up on a stick, so it's going to be up on a dowel, so it's just hanging, free hanging from a stand, and we're going to blast two lights through it. So the two lights that I've decided to go with, depending on how much level we can get out of it, I'll be using a really, really bright LED panel. I'll have to get the brand for you and flash it up on the screen, but we'll be using that on a tungsten setting, probably a little bit warmer than tungsten. I don't know, we'll see how we go. And then we'll also be using a blondie if we can't get enough level out of it, but that will be way back on the stage and they will be blasting through that diffusion from a distance as well. So the light source will be much larger. Because if you have more space in between your diffusion and your light, the light source becomes bigger and more diffused. So that will be our key, especially for the wide. If we do need to tweak that when we go in for close-ups, then I'm thinking we can either bump it in closer or make it favor one or the other in terms of characters, or alternatively, we could just set up something else. We could have the LED panel bounced into a poly board and then through a diffusion. That is called a wedge lighting setup. They're also called book lights, I think. But either of those options will be an idea. We also have access to DDOs. Now, because we're in a theatre, I think the DDOs might be able to get us a little bit more contrast in our image. So I am going to use a contrasting color temperature. We're going to set these DDOs to daylight, and they're going to act as hair lights or rim lights for both the characters when they're sitting in the front row. And then when we move to the stage, there's no point in those lights being still there, but we are going to reflect that setup completely. The setup is going to be flipped as soon as they hit the stage. So at that break in that scene, we will just rotate our whole large house light setup and face that towards them on the stage. And then we'll also have the DDOs behind them, but we'll change those to tungsten instead of daylight. As a side note, my color temperature will be something that I play with on the day. I'm probably going to lean towards balancing the daylight just to make the ambience a little bit warmer, but we'll see how we go. But this flipping of the lighting setup when they move from one side to the other side, I think is going to save us time. And when we don't have the crew to be able to quickly do things, like my grip is my gaffer now, so he's going to have a hard time by himself doing this stuff. I think we may have one other person on hand to help out, but even that, it's a lot of time to move that sort of setup. So having the ability to just flip, rotate, and start shooting again is really handy. So the key takeaways here are: think logically about what you have and how many people you have and how easy your setups are going to have to be. I had to cut down on this lighting list quite a significant amount, not only because of budget, but because of the crew that we have. We don't have that many people. Having more equipment is not going to help you if you don't have enough people to help out. And having a small crew and less gear kind of makes you a little bit more nimble. In some cases, this sort of thing just doesn't work, but I think we can do this because we've chosen the right equipment and the right people to get the job done. Point number 2 is have ideas up your sleeve. You saw in my idea there that we do have a couple of options. If something doesn't work, like we go in for a close-up and our big light source doesn't seem to be getting what we want, we can minimize that, make another setup, and just reflect that per character. Once you kind of worked out this sort of document, you can send that on to whoever needs to know about it. So your gaffer, or in my case, my grip and gaffer, or the director, depending on what sort of job it is and if they want a hand in it. Or it's always just nice to keep them informed anyway, keep them in the loop about what sort of style you're doing and whether they agree with it or not, and if they can throw in suggestions as well. It's all a team effort. Make sure you also ask for suggestions too, because I mean, it's not only your film, you're not the only person on this film. You've got to work together with your team to create the image that the director is after. So if they have any suggestions for different ways of doing things, keep that in mind and maybe adapt it into what you've got there. Work together to collaborate on something. Don't just dictate what you want to happen. So I have quite a bit of prep to do before this shoot on the weekend, so I'm gonna go and get that stuff done. Now, the next video will probably be the shoot days. I don't quite know what I'm going to be able to cover for that, but I'm going to take snippets throughout the day when I can. I don't know how busy it's going to be. It's probably going to be quite busy, and I don't have anybody to help me in taking those videos, so it'll just be me. Unlike other YouTubers who are able to just go around and take video willy-nilly, I can't do that. This is my job. So I will try my best to try and get as much coverage as I possibly can and try and get you guys in there so you can see what we're doing. I'll try and remember to take videos of each setup when I can, especially this one that we're discussing today. Maybe we can do like a little brief summary of what was done and how it actually got achieved, and if we actually stuck to that plan, but we'll see how we go. Then the next videos for this series may take a little bit longer because we've got to do the post process and everything like that, and I probably won't be involved until a rough cut is sent to me, and then we start doing the color grade when we're picture locked, but that will be quite a while down the track. I forgot to mention, now the equipment that we have. Now in the previous video that I did about choosing a camera kit, we had a few things that were up in the air. Those problems have been solved, we know what we're shooting on. We have the Blackmagic Ursa Mini Pro 4.6K, and we also have a set of Rokinons. Now, I don't mind Rokinons, I'm actually pleased that they're Rokinons compared to some other lenses. I thought maybe this person only had stills lenses, which would have been a real bummer, but he has Rokinons, so that's great. They're cinema style lenses, they've got gears on them, everything should be good. It's easy to set those up in a cinema style and have my assistant be able to pull focus fine. We've also got a tilt and nucleus, which is great. I love those things, they're beautiful. If you saw my post on my community feed, I used one on the first day of a feature film that I'm shooting, and oh my god, it was so cool. I really want one. They're amazing. They're just so compact. And okay, I'm gonna stop talking about Tilta now, but yes, that's what we've got. That's our package. We're gonna use the Blackmagic Cinema 6K as our gimbal camera, which will be played for a few shots, and then we're gonna use the Ursa Mini Pro for the rest. And softening filters. Now, filters. I'm gonna go with Glimmerglass. Thank you very much for all your little suggestions that you had in the comments. I read through them. I don't get to often reply to all of the comments, so thank you for leaving them. I do read them, trust me, but sometimes I don't get to reply. But we're going with Glimmerglass. We've got a matte box. We've got everything we could possibly need for that, and we're just going to go with varying strengths of Glimmerglass to get that nice halo effect and the beautiful softening in those theatre lights. But stay tuned. I'll obviously have a lot more videos coming up, especially about jobs that I'm doing. I do have a music video coming up, which will be a lot of fun. We're doing a lot of in-camera effects, so I am going to do a video on that as well. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, remember to subscribe. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and thank you so much for watching.